1340 96.5 KVGC on the phone this morning. Douglas Viviani of Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture show. And Douglas, I understand congratulations are in order. Happy birthday?
Yes, although no one seems to know around here that it was my birthday yesterday. It was my birthday, July 11th, 7/11. A lucky birthday. I don't know what else is lucky about it. Never brought me luck at the track, or never brought me luck at the roulette table. But okay, there it was.
So your birthday was on Thursday then?
Yes,
right?
on
Okay.
Thursday. And you know, it's funny. You get older, you know what the routine is. Like and I got a family. Your birthday has diminished quite a bit to a couple of homemade cards and a couple of Facebook wishes, because Facebook reminds everybody every day of whose birthday it is. And
what did we do before that happened?
Oh man, I used to do camping trips. I used to do trips to Vegas, or I would go out on the boat. I would do when my dad had one. I would do All-Star game and just have a barbecue and watch the All-Star game. A lot of times it was on, maybe again, on the July 11th, the All-Star game was 11th to 12th in that range. And, I don't know, do a lot of stuff. Now, I'm thankful for the good doctor who, my brother, who is, as everyone knows if they listen to the show, is the UFO enthusiast extraordinaire of Everything Old is New Again. He took me out for a steak, one of these tomahawk steaks. I know we've seen that a little ways back. Was it the National?
Yeah, it was at the National. Yeah.
Do they still have it, or is that it's got to be a special, right?
Yeah, it's a special. And what I want to know is, when did they? When was this invented? Who thought? I'm sure it's been around a while. I'm sure it's nothing new, but it seems like it kind of made maybe a big. I don't know if resurgence is the word or not, but it seems like that was the go-to steak for a while there, and kind of it's maybe cooled down just a little bit. But how would you like to have that whole, folks? If you've never seen one of these tomahawk, it's a ribeye steak, and the steak is, I don't know, Douglas. Do you think? I mean, did they say it was like a 24-ounce, 18-ounce? What size it was?
I think it's 48. Well, for us, it was a 48-ounce for two, I think, if I'm wrong.
So you guys actually ate the both ate off the one?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they chopped. Yeah. They cut it. They sliced a little bit for you.
Yeah. The Lone Wolf restaurant up at the Jackson Rancheria used to do that. I'm not sure if they still do, but they would serve it like that, one for two people. But how'd you like to have that whole bone filled up full of steak? That'd be like
the way it looks the way they call it tomahawk, if you don't know, is like that. It's like a ribeye, but the bone continues for another foot and a half or something beyond that, and you could use it as a tomahawk. Yeah, that would be amazing. The steak was just made perfectly. Of course, it has to be right in a steakhouse. And I would be afraid to do it at home, to cook it at home because of the cost and all that, and would you cook it too much or too little, and the seasonings and whatever else. But yeah, I could live off that. It was filled with steak the whole time. Well, did you ever see Great Outdoors with John Candy? Reminds me of that with the big Paul Bunyan, I think they called it.
Now, did your brother? Let me. So I didn't tell you about this. So on my trip back to Tennessee, we passed that steakhouse. I don't know if you've ever seen it on TV before, where if you can eat this, I don't know what size it is. It's like a 4-pound steak. If you can eat it within an hour, it's free, and it comes with a baked potato and everything. Have you ever heard of that?
I've not.
I've seen it on the Food Network and other channels before, and it is this restaurant where you go, and I forget. I want to say like a 48-ounce steak. It doesn't.
48's a lot. That's
I think it was 48. It doesn't seem like a lot, but if you eat it within an hour, they give it to you free. And we actually went past that place. And
did you try it? No.
No, we just drove by. We were driving by. It was somewhere. It was either in Texas or Oklahoma. I remember.
That's wild. Though that's pretty much reminiscent of the great outdoors of John Candy.
Yeah.
Trying to eat that thing with the grizzle and all, and get it down for free and for a T-shirt, right?
So speaking of food, I'm sitting in my office the other day, and I told you about this. Did we talk about this on the air? And my friend walks in with a jar of mustard that I hear advertised on Everything Old Is New Again.
Well, we were talking about that a couple of weeks back, how Barbecue and Fondue Guy have a commercial.
Yeah.
And then we were saying, it's Bowers mustard and so forth, and how great it is and all that. And then all of a sudden, you had a visitor from Jackson.
Yes.
Right? Deliver a jar to you.
Wayne Garibaldi walks in and gives me this jar of mustard. He smiles and goes, "Here you go, personal delivery." And I go, "Whoa, this is Bowers mustard that I hear advertised on." And you know what? It's still sitting on my desk as almost like a trophy. I don't know if I should open it and use it or not. Do you ever do that?
All other mustards pale by comparison.
All right.
I can tell you, because they put a little horseradish in there, some other old-fashioned spices. If you were to go, in New York City or, Brooklyn in that area back in the, 1930s and 20s, this is the way mustard was made. There was no Gouldens, and it's like time traveling. You're going back and trying mustard the way it used to be made. And I don't know. I really like it. I think it's great. I think all others are really like pale imitations to it. It's the golden brown kind of mustard.
Yeah,
but it's really good. I like the idea that there was actual delivery. People know where the radio station is. They can walk in, make a delivery to you, and actually, have listened to these barbecue and fondue guys. It apparently took their advices. There, I think you can only get it by ordering it online.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he went to the grocery store.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
yeah. So I think he had to order it online to get it. You get it by the case, and boy, I'd like to get the review. You got to try that out. I got to see what you think.
I will. I will try it out either today or tomorrow. Okay.
Oh, that's soon.
I will.
Okay,
no, yeah, seriously, I'll try it out. But like I say, it's been sitting on my desk as like a trophy, because how often do you hear, an advertisement for some is it okay to say obscure mustard?
It is.
And it walks into your office.
The only way you get it by you is the guy had to really go out of his way, and he had to actually listen to the advice of Barbecue and Fondue Guy. That's what kind of makes me wonder.
That's what's kind of scary, that someone would take their advice. That's,
But their advice is good. So in fact, we missed it last weekend. They were on the show.
Yeah.
And they did some recipes, and they talked about movies and what movies they might see and not see. That's always a lot of fun. I'm just wondering if anybody has any feedback for that. We don't know if these characters are going over or not. We hear some good things. We never hear any bad, so I guess they are going over good. But
they've been around a long time, so, haven't they been with you since the start?
Yes, we bring them out every summer for a barbecue and some shenanigans, and sometimes they've done a fill-in on a best-of show here and there as well.
Remember when they babysat the kids when you and the wife went out? And that kind
Leo almost drowned in the pool.
Yeah, that turned into somewhat of a mess. I don't know. Speaking of that, the Amador County Fair, 2 weeks away, and you guys still have not made it out. How many years have we been doing this show? 20? 25?
Fifth one that I've missed.
Yeah. Have we been doing this for 5 years?
Sixth year now.
God darn it.
Is that unbelievable?
Yeah.
And I just think it's amazing that you've been apparently there since the 1970s, huh?
1976.
You started broadcasting at that point?
Yes, we started doing.
At the fair.
Yeah, and actually doing the voice of the fair. I used to come on and go, it's 10 o'clock and 32 degrees on the Amador County Fairgrounds. Coming up in 10 minutes, Douglas, the juggling clown, will be performing and, talk. And, yeah.
So what do you get as a master of ceremonies, I guess you'd say?
Just kind of, it was called the voice of the fair.
Nice. And then you do the
and then it's just kind of
Amador County Scholarship. You do the blow-by-blow of the annual Destruction Derby. That must be, how do you do that?
That's wild. That's wild.
But do you study like you know who the drivers of the various cars
yeah,
are,
see,
and know them by number or something? Or
yeah. What you do is this is kind of behind the scenes. We're pulling the curtain back, but every heat, let's say there's 10 cars in a heat, but usually there's more. But let's say there's 10 cars. Well, you have 10 cards, 3x5 cards with Douglas Viviani. Car 17, sponsored by, it's a 1932 Hupmobile, sponsored by, Bowers Mustard, blah, 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 blah. So you have those on a board in front of you. And so you can say, hey, here Douglas, Viviani in car number 32 hits Cohen in car number 17, because you're looking on the card, and so you can tell the names. I don't know what the names of, what I'm saying, who's driving what car.
You look like you've been studying this for
But
years.
what happens is it gets really tough when it starts getting pretty muddy, and the numbers are kind of. But that's how you do it. And then as the car is disabled and no longer in, you just pull it out and you put it off to the side until you come down to the top 3 cars.
Now,
So that's
did
how
you have to learn, I don't know, the various terms of the various parts of the car just to make it come alive a little bit more? I don't know, instead of just saying the front of the car, the grill or the quarter panel or whatever, or you're not that specific.
You're overthinking this too much, Douglas. Obviously,
Not
you've
really
never been to a destruction derby, so.
They usually back into everybody. That's
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't. I mean, you can run into people, but that's just going to screw your engine up. Right. So you want to back in, and you can't hit the driver's side door, and there are certain.
Well, that is a rule.
You can't. I mean, there's accidental kind of glancing blows, but if you intentionally, and you can tell when someone intentionally wants to, tries to do
they
that.
Have like a vendetta against somebody.
Yeah, but that doesn't.
Well, congratulations are in order though, because you are now, from what I understand, going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Huh?
I was this past Thursday during your birthday celebration when you and the doctor were celebrating. I was being inducted into the Amador County Fair Hall of Fame. What an honor, seriously. I mean, I was like, whoa.
Now, did they have that at some place, in particular?
Yeah, it's held during what's called the Sponsors and Community Partners Dinner. They throw every year for people that sponsor the different events at the fair and so forth. There's a dinner, and that was this past Thursday, the 11th. And it's a pretty prestigious list. I don't know. I hope I don't tarnish the list, with my name on there. But it was an honor.
No, it's a 1970 Masters Ceremony. Do they have any tapes, any archives that they could pull out?
Thank God, no.
Your experiences?
Thank God, no. Thank God, no. But when I hear myself from just like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, it sound totally different.
Voice-wise, intonation, or what?
Just voice-wise. My voice was higher then. It's more lower now. Not like a lot of lower, but just a little bit. I can tell, and I don't talk quite as fast as I used to.
Now you've been doing this since radio for a long time.
Long time, too long.
Have you listened to like your radio shows from?
I have
some.
80s? I have some stuff from the late 70s that I've listened to, and it's like, who's that kid?
So
who is that kid?
You can see the development, over time.
Yeah,
yeah. Now, what about here's one question that I know we're going off on a different topic, but the uhs and the ums and things like that, you're very rare now to do. How does that flush out over time? It's just something that you think a little bit faster on the radio than talking in the regular conversation, or what? How do you do that?
And you listen to yourself and you go, God, I sound like a fool. I've got to stop saying that.
Right.
I've got to stop
saying that.
It's
on your mind all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's so important, because I still do it, but I still see back in the day, 5 years ago, there was a lot more stumbling, bumblings, and ums and things like that.
Sometimes with this show, when you and I do this, I fall back into it because we just think of random things.
Right, there's nothing planned.
No, and so I have to go.
Just a conversation.
Yeah.
So do you actually? Because you do a lot of interviews on that Friday show at the National. Do you, in some way, have like a card of some basic questions? Doesn't even look like you do that too much.
No, I have the person's name and where they're from, and I usually know, like, we'll say, Douglas Viviani from the Tomahawk Meat group, okay? And then I know you're going to have a barbecue or some event coming up, and so I know that. So I just talk about, I'll tell you what I've done, Douglas. I have always asked the questions that I think everybody at home would want to know the answers to.
Right.
And when people say, here's my talking points, I laugh at them, and either I don't take them or I take them and go totally off. That totally turns me off. When you say, here's my talking points, here's what we want to cover, I just go, nope.
Are there some, I've had some celebrities even, when they're writing the books and all, send you this, what do they call this, liner notes and talking points, and they ask you, or they literally have the question there.
Yeah.
And they think you're going to ask the question word for word.
Exactly.
And you go like, no,
no, that's not what I want to know.
I don't want to be every other interview.
Yes, exactly. So
it's interesting. But you cover the topic, but you want to get. That's why it's hard for you though, because you've got about 4 or 5 a show at least. I would say no.
Yes, sometimes it's pretty, and sometimes if they give me a card and they say Douglas and David from Operation Care are going to be here, and I'll see them and they'll sit down. I'll go, hey, which one's Douglas? Which one's David? Neither one could come today. I'm Bill and I'm Bonnie. Oh, okay.
But it's still Operation Care, right?
Yeah. Or during the, and I'm not picking on Operation Care. I'm just pulling one of the groups we do a lot. Or someone will sit down and I'll start, talking to them, and in the middle of the interview I'll say, so now, Bill, when did you, I'm Bob. Bill couldn't make it today. And okay. And I blame that on Mike and Adam, our producer and cameraman, because they're supposed to keep me up to date on that. So I got to blame. It's just like you blame Cohen all the time. How do you guys? How do you come up with your ideas for the show and stuff?
It's interesting how you say that, because we're going to do that this week.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yes, that's going to be peeling the onion this week. We're going to take a look at how, because that's the most common question we get, is where do you come up with the ideas? Because, of course, every show's basically different.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to do that and develop ideas right on air. But to be honest, totally honest with you, 98% of the ideas come from me, and I write the shows, and Dave comes in as the audience member, so he's most of the time woefully unprepared, and that's what he's the audience member. So basically, the ideas come from me, from looking at entertainment. If it's not a celebrity guest, that's the easy kind of show. The other ones, I just, like we did Godzilla. I know that Godzilla movie's out. It's been out forever. And then instead of taking this typical, what is Godzilla, and let's review the movie and just fumble through it and just kind of regurgitate what he's done in the past, I just always try to think of something that I've never heard before, what I've done before, what I've talked to people about before, or what in my mind would be something I think would be interesting to hear. So that show we did, why are we even interested in this Godzilla? Let's just say that one would be the theme, and we carry that theme with different ideas through the show. But it's really a creative process. It's really a show that's I'm not going to say scripted, but it really has an outline. It really has a good idea where it's going. I've got the clips in order already before we broadcast, so I kind of know in a general idea where we're going, but it's not just off the cuff. It sounds like it might be, but it's not.
Well, don't change anything.
Thank you.
Don't change anything. Now, over this past holiday weekend, I saw 2 movies. The first movie, I had never seen Bohemian Rhapsody.
Right.
Wow. That movie, I thought it was, Queen. I'm a Queen fan, but not like a rabid Queen fan. That movie flew. It just flew by. What a great movie.
Yep.
And then on Monday or Tuesday, I think it was Monday, Tuesday of this week, went and saw Yesterday.
Oh, you did see Yesterday. Good. What was the review?
Yeah. What a cute movie.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say. It was.
Not going to ruin it because I'm not going to ask you.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet? You haven't
I have seen it.
Okay.
Okay. There's two twists towards the end of the movie. Did you expect him to knock on the door of so-and-so?
See, I didn't know if that is supposed to be the real one from our time that we know, or if that's just some old sage that lives down by the ocean.
I just thought that was a great twist. I love the advice. I love the way. So you know how you see these movies and you just can predict. You know where they're going to go. You've seen so many, right? And there's a formula to these love stories and all of this. But this one, I'm sorry. It was nice to see a bit of a twist in a movie that I did not expect, and I think it's at least at the house here, it's reigniting the interest in the Beatles, especially in my 7-year-old, believe it or not.
And I don't think I'm giving anything away with this, Douglas, but, ladies and gentlemen, Ed Sheeran is a major part, and I didn't know that going in.
He's good.
He's a major part of this movie.
Yes.
He's in the movie the whole time. I mean, it's almost about him. I mean, you know what I mean? And he doesn't have anything to do with the Beatles or anything to do with the guy. He does, but he does. I mean, he doesn't play into the mystery, the mystery part of why no one can remember the Beatles. But he does have a good. And you're right. He was pretty good. I thought he was pretty good in the movie. So.
I thought overall, it was a nice.
It was
solid,
a cute movie
that really gave you a different twist on movies. It was something you're not going to expect, and even if you don't like the Beatles, walking out, you're going to kind of be humming some Beatles songs.
There we go. All right. Douglas Viviani and David Cohen. Tonight we're going to pull the curtain back and see how they come up with the show. And again, happy birthday.
Thank you.
And maybe next year, you and the good doctor, we can get together maybe in Roswell. And
that would be. My brother was talking about that the other day. I know you took a visit to the museum. I was telling him about that. We pulled up the pictures. That's a topic for another day. But boy, that ignited the spirit there.
There we go. Douglas, have a good show tonight.
Thank you. Enjoy it.